look, this was inevitable. This was going to happen regardless. Um, this next quote is from possibly the greatest television show ever created, SpongeBob SquarePants. And before you say anything, and yes, it's SpongeBob. I don't want to get too deep on SpongeBob. I don't want to overdo it, with the analysis. But in my personal opinion, a top 5 show of all time. And just play the clip without further ado. This is one of those, I can't even really put a quote on it because the whole speech is just absolutely sensational from
All
Mr.
right, I'm ready.
SquarePants. Without further ado.
So thanks. Thanks for nothing.
You're welcome.
What kind of monsters are we? That poor creature came to us in his hour of need, and we failed him. Squidward's always been there for us when it was convenient for him. Evelyn, when your little Jimmy was trapped in a fire, who rescued him?
A fireman?
And Larry, when your heart gave out from all those tanning pills, who revived you?
Some guy in an ambulance.
Right! So if we all could just pretend that Squidward was a fireman or some guy in an ambulance, then I'm sure we could all pull together and discover what it truly means to be in a marching band.
Oh, man. SpongeBob SquarePants, ladies and gentlemen.
So I love this. And what's funny is I I kind of knew this was going to be on my list before I even realized why and what I would say about it from a meaningful standpoint. But to be honest, and I'm not making this up, this is it's something that really strikes me because I think what we realize and learn about SpongeBob, which I think is consistent with his character throughout the show, is that he's always looking to help people regardless of what they can do for him. And I think this is very, very impactful and meaningful because I think a lot of people are under the delusion that we're supposed to help people because you're going to in turn gain something from it, right? And I love this because it's not the case, right? I think that there are a lot of moments in life where even subconsciously, right, not even necessarily manipulatively, if that's a word, but I think subconsciously a lot of times we make choices to help people because we know that it's going to circle back to us. And while I think that's probably true, that should not be, in my personal opinion, the mindset or the motivation to do so. I think we should all be striving to help people because we genuinely want to help them. And obviously I'm a religious person and I'm paraphrasing here, but to me personally, it's God, it's everyone else, and then it's me, in order of whom I'm trying to please and whom I'm trying to look out for. So, I think a lot of people certainly might disagree. I think a lot of people think that everything you do for yourself, which I don't even necessarily disagree with. I think helping people does in turn help yourself, but I don't think psychologically that should be the path to doing things for others. So, I think that the reward in and of itself, the reward of making somebody's life better, to me should come before anything that's going to circle back to you personally. So,
well, I have a slightly different list. For me, it's God, family.
Yeah, you know what? Excuse me. I absolutely
And by the way, you're included in that family.
I appreciate that. You as well. While I was saying it, that thought actually popped into my head, but I had a good flow going there, so I didn't want to interrupt myself.
Yeah,
but 100%, it's God, it's family, it's everyone else, and then myself. So Jesus obviously being included in God.
What I love about this SpongeBob clip is he doesn't say, he's not saying like, think about all the things Squidward has done to help you, and therefore you should help him, right? He says,
Right.
imagine Squidward is, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but like the ER doctor. Imagine he's the fireman. Imagine he's this. Um, so it's not necessarily that like Squidward has done all these things to help you, and therefore you should help him. It's kind of like everybody has the potential
Right.
to help
For sure.
and to be
Absolutely.
helpful to you. And so in this same way, like Squidward could, he could be the fireman. He could be, um, the ER doctor. And so therefore he has the potential, everybody has the potential to help. And so you should
Yeah.
always, even if, like you said, you don't want to operate on the way that like, just because somebody did something for you, therefore you should help them. I think it can be helpful to think about, okay, everybody has the potential to help you and
Right.
to give something to you. And so, therefore, you should always be helpful and give something to them. Because, like SpongeBob insinuates, Squidward could be the fireman, or he could be the doctor, uh, or he could help you in another way that you're not expecting. So it's I always operate on a way like you never know, you know, when that person that you're passing by or giving a hand to or helping could be, you know, um, the next shining light in your
Mhm.
life.
Right.
uh, or even you never know what your interaction. This the show is all about like amplifying that ripple effect, right? That you have towards other people and uh, focusing on how individuals can, by themselves, have impacts wide and far. And I think, SpongeBob hits on this where like you never know at any given time what your actions of helping somebody else, what they could mean to another person, right? To you, it may be a trivial thing, just, helping somebody, however small it is. But to them, you never know how great of an impact. Maybe that person is really going through something
Yeah.
and nobody's willing to help them and they think they're all alone. And just the act of you reaching out your hand could turn their life around in ways that you never could have expected. And so to me, that unexpected, both on the standpoint of the other person's capacity to give back to you and help you, and also from the standpoint of the unexpected impact that you could have on somebody else, to me
Right.
mandates that you operate on the basis of helping somebody, not because they've helped you, but because of potential.
Absolutely. I think that's a very astute point. I think, yeah, I think, right. It reminds us that if you can do it for somebody who's done something for you, like you said, that means you could do it for somebody who hasn't. You just don't necessarily feel like it. And I always operate under the same presumption, right? And I think even, not necessarily correctly sometimes. But yeah, somebody cuts you off on on the roads, right? Somebody bumps into you because they're rushing to get somewhere, right? It's like obviously a 99% of the time, it's because that person is inconsiderate. But on the off chance that it's that 1% where they're rushing to get to the hospital or they're rushing to do whatever they got to do, obviously we don't know. And I think that we have to make that presumption just in case, because if we're in a situation of danger or strife or imminent anything, right? We would hope that others are understanding of that, even if they don't know what's going on. And I think a lot of times, more often than we understand, that's the case. And I
Mm.
love the line also where he says, Squidward's always been there for us when it was convenient for him. I thought that was hilarious. But even more so, it's just seeing the positive in every little thing that a person
Yeah.
does, right? I've never met a human being who didn't have a positive quality or some positive impact on my life. So I think highlighting that over, some potential negatives is very powerful.
Yeah.